5 o'clock in the morning, a very peaceful Brighton, and on my way to the airport.
Here on the doors.
Hello, how are you? Welcome to the clubhouse.
So I'm at Heathrow Airport. I had to get here stupid early because my COVID test wouldn't upload properly on the website yesterday. That was the most stressful day I've had for a long time. So I've come here hoping to get a nice massage in the lounge, but they don't do massages now because of COVID, and instead they do Peloton bikes. Hardly the same thing. I'm going to get some champagne instead. Cheers. So I found a little roof garden at Heathrow Airport. I wouldn't say it's exactly peaceful, but the sun is shining. It's actually really nice. There you go, that plane is absolutely kicking off now. This is great.
Bye, sir. Have a good flight.
So just boarding the flight. We've got about 12 hours to go. Cheers.
Hello, my name's Amanda. I'm the flight service manager on today's flight.
I only got one beer and the Wi-Fi doesn't work and my seat's broken. Apart from that, it's going a bit of a shame because I wanted to watch the Magic Design live stream. So. Finally at the hotel room. Day 1, Los Angeles, let's go.
We're just driving in the wrong side of the road because in Hollywood we go on the right. You guys don't know how to fucking drive. You still drive on the left. What the hell is that?
It's the proper way. So at Company 3 just had a beautiful lunch with Walter, and he's a busy man, so I'm going to leave him be.
Need to go back.
Got to work. So I'm back in Hollywood. I'm at the original Technicolor building, and I'm meeting Marc Wielage for lunch.
He's recording!
Right, off for lunch with Marc Wielage. We are going to Counters on Fairfax, which I'm very excited about actually.
Should be more excited about this Porsche that's about to hit us. This is the famous canvas right there.
So right behind me, you should just be able to see Quentin Tarantino's cinema. So they show everything on film only in there, strictly film.
Sometimes I get a little weary of people who are obsessed with analog and film looks and so on. But I have to admire Quentin Tarantino because he has such an almost religious devotion to preserving film and keeping the tradition of showing film prints in theaters going, as he has over here at the Beverly Cinema.
So Marc, we've met before. I just wanted to, you've moved studios.
Yes, we are in a new room. We're in about a 400 square foot color room.
Yeah, it definitely seems bigger than your last one.
It is. My business partner, another colorist, Henry Santos, he and I were determined to have the exact same color experience in our private office that we did for many years at Technicolor Hollywood.
Okay.
So we have the full advanced panels.
Yeah.
We have the 2 display resolve setup. We have a dedicated display just for scopes and a 31-inch color monitor, which is technically approaching Dolby Vision levels.
Okay. What's your I/O box for that then?
We are using the Blackmagic 4K. Is it an Ultra? It's an Extreme.
1U or 3U?
We have 2 of them. We have one that's an Extreme and one that's a regular 4K.
Yeah.
And one of them is used for actual monitoring, and the other one is just used for scopes.
Yeah. Okay. So this little monitor's pretty cute. You've seen my scope setup. This is
a widescreen. I'm not sure if it's a Samsung or an LG model. We've replaced it a couple of times because they tend to burn out. But I like the idea of seeing all the scopes in a widescreen display. And to me, it's better to separate the scopes out from Resolve so it's that little bit less of a strain on the overall system.
Yeah.
All the scopes are being handled in another box.
So what sort of stuff do you work on? What do you do?
We do a variety of stuff. The majority of what I do here is restoring old movies, and when I say old movies, it's movies from the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s for home video, streaming, and so on, and archival purposes.
Yeah.
We also do the occasional commercial,
Yeah.
some specials, we do shorts. We did a dozen sketch comedy pieces for Viacom CBS just a couple of months ago, so I think those are out now, little 5-6 minute sketches. So the answer is we sort of do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, like maybe we all have to.
Yeah. I mean, we have a very simple business policy. We don't turn down work.
Yeah. So everyone knows you as obviously on the Resolve forums. You're very probably the most helpful person I know on those forums. I think you and Jim Robinson.
Yeah, Jim's great.
Devote a lot of time. It's I know a lot of people are very appreciative of that, especially with the amount of experience you've got in Resolve. So you're clearly a Resolve addict, would I say?
Yeah, I would say that's true. And part of what I'm bringing is the experience I had. I've been a colorist for more than 40 years in Hollywood and managed to survive. And one thing I loved in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s was the camaraderie we had, where I would work for a company that had, 10, 12, 15, 16 colorists in one building. And in general, we all got along together. We were all part of the same family. We looked out for each other. So if one person found out a cool new feature in DaVinci, they would run down the hall to the other guys and go, "Hey, look at what I just discovered. DaVinci will do this if you hit this button." Yeah. And we would go, "Wow, I got to try that on my."
The forum before forums.
Yeah. So basically the deal was we weren't necessarily competitive with each other. We weren't trying to step and claw on the other guy to get up the Hollywood ladder. We were actually interested in working together to help the whole company. And I miss that spirit. That
I've got a few contacts, a few friends that we kind of help each other, but it's a very isolated world, isn't it?
Exactly.
I didn't get into colour for the community. Well, there is a community, but thanks to forums, but it's an isolated job.
And I keep my eyes and ears open. I'm always interested in something new, and I think the reason why I've been able to last so long is I try to always be aware of what's happening, what's changing. We're eagerly looking at Resolve 18 and looking at the new features and trying to decide what can we do to incorporate that in the way we work here.
So can you imagine even when me and you both go back to Resolve, you're 6, I'm 7.
Sure.
The resources we thought were good at the time then, but nothing like you've got now. I mean,
that was Tinker Toys.
Yeah, we can find out anything now. It's which is great. But do you find it's? I mean, you're on it all the time. I mean, the only person I know who has a 48-hour day, I think, is.
Well, I do work long days in this room. Surprisingly, I'm actually only on the internet maybe an hour a day.
Everyone wants to see kit. I love looking at other people's studios. Can you give us a little tour? Obviously, it's Resolve centric, but
sure.
Can you give us a little tour of your favourite things that are here?
Love the panels. I tell people who get into Resolve for the first time that really Resolve is so much more powerful when you combine it with a control surface. And Blackmagic gives you the choice of 3 different panels. And I have
you had this one from day one when you started?
I've had this since about 3 months after we started this office, which has almost been 5 years.
Okay. So I was about 2 years until I went for it.
What I have to say is the little dirty secret of Resolve, and Blackmagic may not agree with me saying this is just my opinion, but I think Resolve was really made for the big panel. When you try to use Resolve with anything else, it's a compromise. Now we have other panels. I have the Tangent Wave 2 as a backup, sits in a suitcase over there in case we need to do something in a client's office. We have the mini panel in a big case over there, a big rolling case, and I used the mini panel for a long time since it came out. I love the Tangent Element panel. That was a great panel too. Yeah. And there are advantages to that. It's very low, it's very flat, it's got a lot of buttons. You combine it with something like the Stream Deck for macros and stuff, there's almost nothing you can't do with it. But then you step up to the Resolve Advanced panel, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
And I find I can fly through sessions with this thing. It's a lot of money, it's $30,000, but what I have to say is I can go hours and hours, I can go 2 or 3 hours and I never look down at the panel.
Yeah.
I've memorized where every button is, so all I'm doing is looking at the screen in front of me and worrying about the color. So I'll look at the sky and I'll go, oh, you know what? I need to pull a key off that sky. And I'm not looking down at the panel. I'm maneuvering the mouse, grabbing the blue, adjusting the qualifier, and doing everything you need to do. And boom, I've got what I need and I've moved on to the next shot.
And ergonomically, I think just a long session, doing that with your arms a little bit more.
Yeah.
Than this. I did one on the tangent element recently, which is a great panel, but it's very small controls. It's just.
I feel that way with the Resolve Mini panel. As good as it is, and it's a great value for what they're doing. $2,000 used to be $3,000. The buttons are very small, the trackballs are a little bit smaller, and I find I'm constantly looking down and going, where is that again? Oh, I have to hit this button 3 times for that menu to come up.
Although I think with what people are doing with Stream Decks now, I see you've got one as well, I've got one, and multiples,
Right.
I think the Mini, obviously wasn't around when I bought the advanced panel, I think I'd keep my $25,000, just spend the $5,000 on the thing and have a few Stream Decks. There is that. I don't regret my advanced panels at all, but
I've seen a few
had a bit of
people.
$5,000 option. Then I think I'd have gone that.
Yeah, I've seen a few people that have 3 or 4 Stream Decks combined with a mini panel, and I go, well, yeah, that's great, and I guess that would probably be under $3,000 nowadays.
Yeah.
It's still not the equivalent of this. It's not quite the same thing because you have dedicated buttons. I think it's, what is it, 160, 170 buttons?
I did do an episode on this, I shouldn't know. I think it's 250.
Is it really?
So, yeah, it's something even more than that.
Well, and
I think including the soft buttons at the top.
And then each button does 2 or 3 things.
Yes.
So you go, my God, it's the equivalent of 700 or 800 buttons. So I mean, it's massive.
Yeah.
And I think there is a client factor that you can't overlook, which is
absolutely.
when they walk in the room and the clients see the big panels, they go, wow, this is a serious guy. He must know what he's doing.
So talk us through some of the main bits of kit you've got there.
Some of the stuff we have is sort of subtle. Like we used to use lit lights, which are very popular in the recording industry. We're using these lights, which, I should
the
know.
media bites.
The media light, thank you, media light.
I've just got these myself. So.
And the media lights are wonderful because they are 6,500 degrees. So it's real whites. I love them so much, we bought 5 of them for the room. So I've got 1 for the client, I've got 2 for the console, 1 for me way over here, and 1 for the desk on the other side of the room.
What I love about these, you can dim them. I've got mine set to literally it's like 2%.
Yeah.
And they don't.
That's what we do.
I can't find any lights that go that low.
Yeah.
So I really love it. And also this little thing swivels.
Yeah, little thing is cool. I mean, they did everything right.
It's great.
Plus, it's $99. It's fantastic.
And it sits so it doesn't lean, doesn't fall over. So
Yeah.
we're not trying to sell media lights over.
But I was so pleased with them. I bought them. I didn't even ask for a discount.
Yeah.
I said, no, I will pay list price for these because these are so
And
good.
it's the same company who do, if you've got the same as me, the backlighting on there, which is the strip that you put on. So
Exactly.
Again, important, the lighting. Obviously, we've got your house lights on here just for the video. So
Yeah, normally we don't run with the house lights on. We have that up for the camera. But it's amazing the number of places in LA. I freelance for 4 or 5 different companies in LA on occasion. And it's amazing. They'll usher me into their color room and they're in a closet with no lights, and they've got some bad mini panel that's all beat up and cracked, and there's dust blowing around, and bad monitor for the scopes, and I'm 15 feet away from the color monitor, and it's just a very uncomfortable, awkward place to work in. So we wanted a place where we would be really comfortable, the clients would be comfortable, and we could relax to do the work, so it would be that much less stressful.
Yeah. I think this is probably bigger than my suite. I think it's definitely bigger than my suite because you've got a lot more kit in here. But it's comparable. And I think this is a nice couple. The client comes in, it's airy, it's it's nice. You know, these are important things. It's not just about kit.
It is. I mean, there are things I wish we had here that we don't have, and the next time we move, we're going to be looking into that, which is to have a machine room.
Yeah.
We have a quiet box over here, which is out of view of the camera. The quiet box holds more than 400 terabytes.
I will shoot some B-roll after this.
Yeah, there you go. 400 terabytes of fast storage. We're big users of G-Tech, so we've got G-Speed. Oh God, what are they called? G-Speed shuttles.
Okay. Yeah.
G-Speed shuttle drives, all in a RAID 5 configuration, all with Western Digital red drives. And we recently upgraded one of those to, I think, 120 terabytes.
Okay, is that all on at the minute?
It is up at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear obviously just slight background. I don't know if that's even the AC.
Yeah, the quiet box
It's quiet.
encloses quite a bit of that
And it
noise.
is open,
so it's
isn't
not
it?
so bad. And I've actually got the door cracked as I reached in to open it earlier. But what's interesting is we made the decision to go with a G-RAID 0 using SSDs for the everyday project. So each week we go through what we did before, delete the old projects after making sure it's backed up to an actual hard drive.
Yeah.
And then we load the new project onto the SSD. The SSD is absolutely bone quiet,
Yeah.
incredibly fast. It's over 200 megabits per second.
Yeah.
Maybe megabytes. I'll have to double check. And it's fast as lightning. We can do 8K, 6K, any kind of K you need.
I'm just thinking about transitioning to this sort of workflow as well, because you just keep it on there and then dump it later. don't you?
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. And from the viewpoint of heat and noise and speed, it's great. The only thing where it's bad is cost. The cost is ridiculous. We have people that are going out and shooting 20, 30 terabytes a day.
Yeah. I mean, I've got to say we were a little bit more selective about what we actually back up now, because you know, I used to buy a 2 terabyte drive. I could get 10 projects on there.
Oh,
You know, now it's
those days are gone.
one. So what are you using for monitoring? What's this?
Well, first, for the GUI monitors, we're using Dell UltraSharps,
Yep.
which are by far my favorite GUI displays for computers. We actually use them on all our Macs. And even though they're not an Apple brand, we actually prefer them to what Apple sells in most ways.
I get that.
And the center monitor is, I believe, an LG, and I want to say it's an odd resolution, like 1200 by 3000 or something like that. It's an odd number. But
like
it gives us this super wide display for seeing all the scopes.
It's really nice actually, because I've got a 34-inch Dell ultra wide, which I know.
Yeah.
I think you're one of the guilty ones who said, "Why have you got such a big?"
Well,
do you know what? The only reason I've got it is lying around doing nothing. So, and I've not been bothered to actually change it. But I would like something like that. I think that looks.
Yeah, I mean, it's very nice. And I can tell you, at most of the commercial facilities in town, all the big guys, Deluxe, Company 3, what used to be Technicolor, and related companies like that, a lot of them use a similar configuration where they have the main color monitor in the middle and then scopes immediately below it.
Okay.
I'm kind of an old school guy in that I come from the world of telecine, back in the days when we actually ran film live and color corrected with computers and external panels. And so I come from a world where we believe and trust the scopes, and we use those as God to tell us when we're in trouble.
Absolutely. I do as well, but it's, I think there's a little bit of a height thing because I've got my client monitor up on the wall, then I've got my hero monitor, so I don't know how much room I've actually got because I'm only just sort of seeing over the back of this.
That's true.
Both not the tallest guys in the world.
That's always a problem when designing a room. You've got to put your system in based on the limitations of the size of the room, the place in which you have to sit, and where your clients are going to sit. We have gone with this smaller monitor, this 32-inch monitor, and we're anticipating getting maybe an FSI or a Sony BVM Dolby Vision monitor at some point in the near future if work demands it.
Now you've got a nice big desk as well,
The desk was incredibly expensive and a lot of trouble, and I have to thank our friends over at Simple DCP, which is a local DCP company. Wait a second, we'll edit this part out. It is called Martin & Ziegler.
Martin & Ziegler, okay. Yeah, so I mean, I think my desk is actually an audio console desk.
Yes.
I mean, I want a big desk. I want to be able to put paperwork out if I want to.
Yeah.
You know, I just want space.
That's exactly what we said.
And rounded edges.
And the guys at Technicolor, the consoles we used in the old Technicolor building were custom made. And we thought, well, we need something about that good, but maybe not custom. That would be a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
Those were $3,000 or $4,000.
Take one of the zeros off.
This desk, I want to say, was about $1,700 or $1,800.
Yeah.
So it was expensive. We did do some custom modifications to drop it a little bit, to make it a little bit lower for our purposes. What I would love to do, and we have not done it yet, would be to take the advanced panel and cut a hole for it so that it drops down another couple of inches. A few places around town do that. It's just one of those things we haven't gotten around to doing.
Kind of like that. I'm sure you got the back with the.
I think that's what my partner Henry said. He goes, "Oh, you have no idea how complicated it is."
You've got
Isn't
the
that
dust
cheap?"
panel.
Yeah.
Oh, is this to protect the reflection from the silver?
Well, also it's to cover up the ugliness.
Right. I thought you were being smart and had a nice cover for your thing, because I think at $30,000 they should come with a cover.
You know, I talked
If
to
you're
Black.
watching out there, Black Magic.
Yeah, I talked to Black Magic about it, and they said, you know, we would rather you not cover the advanced panel because we're worried that it'll get hot. They said we had somebody who.
I wasn't going to use it with a cover on.
Well, they had they had somebody who put a vinyl cover on it, and the LED screens got very hot over a weekend, and they came back. I don't think it melted, but it was starting to malfunction because of the heat.
I switched mine off.
That's what we do. Well, actually, a screensaver kicks in. Are we hearing something?
You don't hear it?
No.
Well, high-pitched squeak.
Oh, that's possible. This is a weird.
Because you're always a colorist and not audio.
This is a weird old building. There's all kinds of strange.
Okay. So
things.
apologies for the little squeaky weird noise. But I'm not going to be cutting that out. I'm editing this in my hotel room, so you're going to get what you get. So what am I spying over here? A bit of new kit.
Yes, we have a new Mac Studio, which we're going to be using to replace two Mac Minis, which are hidden behind this monitor. We use the Mac Mini as a Postgres SQL server as a project manager, and the second Mac Mini is used for scopes. So what we're going to be doing with the Mac Studio is doing both things in one computer. Now it's kind of overkill to use a Mac Studio for all that.
So it's quite interesting you're not going to be using it for running Resolve.
But you know what? It's a good backup system, and we are going to put Resolve on there just in case we run into a bit of trouble. We also have the old trash can Mac from 2013, and believe it or not, we still use that for conforming and for creating H.264s, for uploading to Frame.io and things like that.
Well, that's now my beta machine, so that's what I use. So that's what version 18 has just come out. That's gone on there. That's what that beast is for.
For our beta machine, I have a MacBook Pro M1 Max, which is on the opposite side of the room. And we are running the beta of Resolve 18 on that, and I have to say, I don't think the MacBook Pro would be my first choice to run Resolve, but having said that, it's amazing for what it does and for the amount of money it costs. And for small tasks, for little projects, it's okay. I wouldn't trust the screen. There's a lot of controversy on the net as to whether or not you can believe and trust the monitor that Apple gives you on the MacBook Pros. For my money, no, they are not good enough. You know, we spent a lot of money on calibration and getting good color monitors. I don't think the MacBook Pros are quite there yet. And there's a lot of reasons not to trust the GUI. But then I get people saying, well, I'm only doing stuff for YouTube and for my high school or for this thing or that thing. And you go, well, try it and see if it works for you. It would not be my choice.
I could do 20 episodes on this.
Well,
it's.
I mean, it is sad, and unfortunately, there are people on the net who don't want to hear the truth.
No, but I think as long as you are aware of the limitations, you are aware that this is not 100% true necessarily. So you have quite a fine array of movie posters here, and I noticed many of them are signed actually by the looks of them.
Yeah, and my joke is these are reminders of the the huge struggle and strain and stress of getting through all those projects in the color room. And I mean, on the one hand,
I mean, they're everywhere.
we think of the fun and the entertainment and the joy in seeing these things on the big screen. But I also remember every pixel, every blemish, every screaming argument that went along to get these movies done. So, but if nothing else, it's a reminder. This is part of my career, at least the posters for which I could get some living examples, and I was able to get some of the directors and DPs and so on to autograph them for me.
So if you could only have one, for whatever reason, which one would you take?
Well, I gotta say Don Coscarelli over here on Beastmaster.
I've got to say I'm loving that one. Yeah.
Yeah, Don was very nice and practically wrote an entire paragraph. I said, hey, can you autograph this for me? And he goes, oh, I'm going to do a lot more.
Perfect.
He said, you were responsible for making this movie the best it's looked in 30 years.
Right.
So he was very complimentary and a sweet, wonderful guy. But that was another 100-hour project. It just took forever, where we were pushing pixels around for a while. But the end result was worth it, and as long as the movie looks better than it ever has, I'm happy.
Well, Mark, it's been brilliant talking to you. I know you're a busy man.
Oh, thank you.
It's really good to see you, and it's been 3 years, I think, since I saw you last
at
time.
least.
So, Chrome is growing each time I come.
I hope the next time you visit, we have a machine room, which we desperately need, and maybe a second color room.
Fantastic. Now, we'll shake your hand, but it looks like you've got a bit of a...
Oh yes, carpal tunnel syndrome, which is an occupational hazard. Any of you colorists out there who are independent and so on, take frequent breaks, don't lean on your hands, and listen to your doctor.
You heard it here first, folks. All right, pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
All right.